From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, November the 30th, 2016. Arabic language media reports that Israeli jets struck 2 targets in Syria overnight last night. According to those reports, which include from Syrian state television, the IAF is said to have hit a military target in Damascus, as well as a Hezbollah weapons convoy traveling on the highway connecting the Syrian capital to Beirut, Lebanon. The Times of Israel reports that Israel has neither confirmed nor denied the airstrikes. As we reported to you earlier this week, the IAF hit a building late Monday night in Syria that was used by the Islamic State terror group to attack Israeli troops operating along the Syrian side of the Golan Heights. And it was cleared for publication today that an Israeli Arab civilian was arrested for trying to join the IS terror group. Israel's police central unit and its security agency, the Shin Bet, apprehended the young man, who was said to have been a minor at the time of the offense. He was reportedly from the Israeli Arab town of Jaljulia in the West Bank. The Shin Bet released a statement saying that it views ISIS supporters in Israel and Israeli citizens residing in Syria as a serious security threat, and therefore uses all means at its disposal to locate its cells and thwart threats posed by them, including by bringing them to trial for terrorism and security-related crimes. The Jerusalem Post reports that congressmen and women across the aisle expressed their support last night for direct talks between Israel and the Palestinians. A non-binding resolution was introduced by House Foreign Affairs Committee Republican Ed Royce of California and Ranking Democrat Eliot Engel of New York. It put a majority of members on record in favor of Israeli-Palestinian negotiations that lead to a, quote, sustainable two-state solution, and against efforts at the UN Security Council that would, quote, impose a solution on the parties. The Ethiopian Jewish holiday of Sigd is being celebrated today. The holiday serves as an annual gathering of the Ethiopian Jewish community and its connection and commitment to the State of Israel. It was signed into law as an official holiday in Israel in 2008. Thousands of Ethiopian Israelis made their way to Jerusalem's Western Wall, as well as to the promenade in the Jerusalem neighborhood of Armon HaNatziv today to mark the holiday, where Israel's President Reuven Rivlin spoke and called the holiday part of the cultural mosaic of the entire Jewish people. The president also took the opportunity to call for the return of 30-year-old Ethiopian Israeli Avraham Mengistu, who has been held by terror group Hamas in Gaza for over 2 years. Mengistu, who is said to have mental health issues, disappeared in September of 2014 after he entered the Gaza Strip. Rivlin also mentioned the 2 IDF soldiers killed in action in the 2014 war with Gaza, whose remains are being held by Hamas, Lieutenant Hadar Golden and Sergeant Oron Shaul. Rivlin said, "We will not rest until the boys are returned to Israel for burial." The Times of Israel reports that a group of 11 diplomats from Africa visited Israel this week to meet with government officials and strengthen business ties with the country. The visit, which included an extensive tour of Jerusalem's Old City, was sponsored by the Federation of Israeli Chambers of Commerce and included the ambassadors of Ethiopia and Zambia and diplomats from Cameroon, Ghana, Angola, South Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesperson Emmanuel Nachshon said the visit is a demonstration of the healthy state and the importance of our relations with the African nations, which we intend to deepen and widen in the years to come. The Jewish Foundation for the Righteous, or JFR, posthumously honored U.S. Master Sergeant Roddy Edmonds this week for his heroism during World War II. On December the 19th of 1944, Edmonds, who was not Jewish, was taken prisoner during the Battle of the Bulge by the German Army. He was the highest-ranking officer in the POW camp and responsible for the 1,292 American POWs there. Among them, 200 Jewish POWs. When Edmonds was ordered under threat of death to identify those Jewish soldiers, he refused, telling the German commandant, "We are all Jews here." Edmonds died in 1985 this past Monday night at New York City's public library. Edmonds' son accepted the JFR's Yehi Or, Let There Be Light Award in recognition of his father's courageous actions. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, November the 30th. At 7 o'clock, it's from the Aleph Bet. At 8, we bring you more from the Jewish Federations of North America's General Assembly in Washington with Ann Lewis, who is co-chair of Jewish Women for Hillary. She discusses the Clinton strategy and the success and failure of the campaign with editor-in-chief of the JTA, Andrew Silo Carroll. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Senior Vice President of the Shalem College, Daniel Gordis, who discusses such topics as J Street and American Jewish criticism of Israel, the two-state solution, and his new book, Israel, A Concise History of a Nation Reborn. That's on tonight's L'Chaim. And at 10, the realities of intermarriage are discussed at the UTJ conference. And coming up right after this newscast tonight, it's Thinking Out Loud with Micah Halpern. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, November the 30th, 2016. I'm Teisha Bader.